a 4,155-page bill unveiled yesterday morning at 1:30 a.m. that will cost $1.7 trillion. This bill has $45 billion for the country of Ukraine, $500,000 to the Long Island Gay and Lesbian Youth Incorporated, $113,000 to the LGBT Center of Greater Reading, $1.5 million for the Loft LGBTQ Community Center New Home Project in New York, which I got excoriated as somehow being hateful for tweeting that out earlier by one of my colleagues. So I'm hateful for raising whether or not we should have $1.5 million set aside for a Loft Community Center in New York that is then divvied up by both age and sexual identity or preference. $2 million for a climate change impact on water initiative at Texas State University. I represent Texas State University, and that's garbage. Texas is pretty well represented with all these earmarks. $750,000 for the acquisition of a building in Brooklyn, New York to create the Brooklyn Center for Social Justice, Entrepreneurship, and the Arts. $300,000 for the City of Sacramento's Neighborhood Equity Initiative. $477,000 for the Equity Institute's Teacher Professional Development. Racial wokeness, a few examples. $443,000 for the Racial Justice Improvement Project, Montgomery County DA's office. I could go on and on and on for all of the things that are put in here, divvying us up by race, divvying us up by gender ideology, all of those earmarks just flooding out with money we don't have. But that's not even the worst of it. The real problem is that we are funding a whole alphabet soup of federal agencies that are demonstrably not doing their job. More importantly, are demonstrably targeting the American people. The Department of Homeland Security is getting $3.2 billion more with no policy changes required, and in fact, with restrictions on how that money can be used. It may not be used for security. It may only be used for processing more people. Hey, let's give them some more money to not secure the border, and let's restrict it from being able to be used to do any of the security that the line Border Patrol agents actually want to do their job. That is what your Republican senators, those 18, did to you, America. Remember it. Remember it when Republicans going around thumping their chest, talking about changing this town when they are neck deep drowning in the swamp. It should have been enough that there was $2.5 billion more for NIH, which funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan and pays Anthony Fauci's salary in perpetuity. 18 Republicans who campaign on fiscal responsibility, who campaign on securing the border, who campaign on balancing the budget, who campaign against the swamp, who run commercials saying they're going to change this place, did the swampiest thing you can possibly do, and that is to vote for a 4,100-page bill they got just yesterday, not knowing remotely what all is in the bill because it was cooked up behind closed doors with no appropriation meetings, jamming it over a new House Republican majority, doing it intentionally to prevent us from being able to debate and vote on how we're going to fund Ukraine, how we're going to fund our own national defense, how we're going to fund non-defense discretionary spending, and ensure that we use that money to secure the border of the United States.